Hello, everyone, and good morning. Welcome to our live feed update for April 18th. I'm your host, Taran Armstrong, and with me today is Kirsten. How you doing, Kirsten?
I am good. I just realized I didn't close the YouTube, and then I was like, wait, why am I hearing Taran twice? It's because just not thinking. I'm doing well. I mean, anytime I get to talk to you in the morning, it's a good way to start the day, and I didn't have to stay glued to my computer all day yesterday to know what's going on. So that's, I guess, a benefit. I don't know. Production said everyone needs a break, but we're not going to tell them they need a break because that worked out so well last time.
Yeah. We're here to update you on everything that happened yesterday on the Big Brother Canada 9 live feeds. It was day 50 in the house, and this is, I promise, this is going to be pretty quick. We can do some speculating at the end. We will eventually be able to give you a veto result, but the feeds did not come back from the veto competition last night until they were sleeping sometime early this morning. So while we did find out who won the veto this morning, there weren't a lot of things to talk about here in the night because the feeds were down the whole night.
Yes, it seems like I guess the house guests got some kind of party or something last night. They were up quite late until about 4 a.m. is what I'm garnering from what I've seen this morning. But we did not get to see any of it, probably because of alcohol or sponsored content or both. And then one of the updater accounts really got me good this morning with a prank, which was not fair to them to get me even for 30 seconds. But you know what? It's fine. And it's fine.
And there you go. So, as I said, not too much to talk about here, especially prior to the veto, but Kiefer and Ty did agree that Beth should go if Jed ends up winning the veto, which is going to be important later.
I wonder who won the veto. Yeah. You're so cryptic, Taran.
Beth had a whole thing with the cameras.
So Beth gives herself a pep talk is the kindest way I can describe that. And you know what? Good for her. Good for Beth.
Yeah, it's I'm finding more and more similarities between Beth and Kiefer as time goes on. That they really have similar sort of patterns when it comes to like the worse they're doing, the more they pump themselves up about how well they're doing.
Yes, but when Kiefer says that he is doing that as a manifestation practice or in a way to, put himself in a better spot, I at least believe him a little bit. With Beth, I really do think she believes all the things that she's saying about how, she does everything on her own and she's never been carried once in her life. And anyone who says anything, one mean word about her, it is obviously because she's a woman and there's no other reason. So
I got myself to this point. I only need myself. Nobody has helped me before.
She got herself back on her feet.
I am powerful. I am powerful. I know I'm powerful, Tara. I don't need you to tell me I'm powerful. I'm powerful.
And see, and here's the thing. I would believe she was manifesting if she was looking in the mirror just going, I am powerful. I am powerful. I have control over this game. I have control. I am in power. But no, she's sitting here being like, no, I can't believe Tara. I've got the power, not Tara. The HOH who just nominated me. Okay, Beth.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's great to build yourself up. It's great to be like, hey, I don't need no man. That's fine. That's great.
No, that's great.
But you don't have to be like, I don't need no woman either. Like I don't need nobody. I don't need anybody. And in fact, screw everybody that tries to help me because I'm me. And how dare they try to say that I'm good? Because I can say I'm good.
I not to plug my own podcast, but this is like from BoJack Horseman season 2 episode 1, where he's like, he throws Todd away in the garbage, and he's like, Todd's like, why didn't you wake me up? I was asleep on the couch when you threw it away. And he's like, you can't wake somebody else up, Todd. You can only wake yourself up. And that's how Beth talks. yourself. And it's like, again, to be very clear, it's no shot on being an independent person, on being an independent woman, on doing things for yourself. There's nothing wrong with those things. But when you have convinced yourself that you have never had any help, that you have never had any support, and that, when anybody does anything against you, it's because they are out to get you and they are jealous of how independent and great you are, that's where you start to get into trouble.
Yeah, it's, hey, okay, I don't need anybody else. I can do this by myself, but I appreciate all of the help and support that I've received from the wonderful people around me.
Wouldn't it sure be nice to have support? Like, it's like, I can do things on my own, but wouldn't it be nice just to have, a little support?
Yeah. Well, not Beth. She's tricked everyone.
She doesn't want it.
She's tricked everyone. That's the problem, is that she's too good at tricking other people. She's tricked them into helping her. And so it's not out of the that's why she despises them for it, is that they've just been tricked. They don't actually care.
Well, exactly. She used her mist on them, Beth Giesling, My favorite part about Beth's little pep talk is when she's like, I'm not going to let anybody outside of this room take me to the end of the game. I will get my own self there. It's like, okay, well, you're on the block and you spent a lengthy amount of time putting in negative self-talk about the other house guests. Like, and that's the thing too, like when you are sitting there in her mind and in her pep talk, she's talking down everybody else in the house and like thinking less of them and putting herself in a position where she sees them as higher. And that does affect your mood and your mindset. And that makes her less likely to actually effectively work with the other people in the house because she sees them as less than and pawns, and she's able to manipulate and she's able to get what she wants. And that just makes her harder to work with because she thinks that she's on this other level. And even besides that, listen, Beth, you just had your whole little plan to get a back door at the final 6 and it didn't work. You went on the block. So obviously your plan's not working.
Well, to be fair to Beth, she is completely correct that she has gotten herself to where she is in this game, in the sense that she has gotten herself on the block this week and potentially going home. So... Ty and Jed. Ty's gonna do some weird stuff throughout the day, as Ty has been doing lately, which is he goes to Jed and he's like, "Promise, man. Of course, I'm gonna use the veto on you. That's the plan. That's the play. We've got this." Then he goes to Tara, Brayden, and Kiefer, and he's like, "Definitely not using the veto, guys. Promise. We got this. I can't wait to win and not use it." And it's like, Ty, Here's a spoiler, guys. Ty does not win the veto, and so I will never get to know what he was actually going to do because I will not believe what he says in the diary room.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing, too, is you just, at this point, over-promising to both sides is so risky. I would have liked to have seen what he would have done, but again, I would have liked to see what Brayden was going to do. Would have been nice. Would have been cool. I would be able to sleep easy if Brayden will win 2 consecutive vetoes here. He didn't win the first one, so.
Wait, are you saying you wish he had won this one because you also wish he had won the last one?
No, I want him to win the next one. I want him to win the next one. Because I don't want anyone I like winning this fake double HOH. So I want him to win the veto so I can. My heart doesn't beat out of my chest.
You don't want to have that conflicted feeling of like, oh, obviously I'm rooting for Brayden, but I'm rooting against this twist so bad.
Yeah, it's your reaction has gone, BB Twitter viral, as it should, an incredible reaction. I do think my face did the exact same thing. I just wasn't on camera.
Oh man, if only it had been.
You know what? Honestly, maybe it's probably better that it didn't. I don't need that smoke. You can have all the attention. It's fine.
Ty is going to talk to Kiefer about getting to the end together. They talk about which competitions they're going to win. Ty's like, well, if I win at 5, you got to win at 4. And Kiefer's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Don't worry. And they talk about going to final 2.
This is, to me, it's like have you ever sat with a group of people and you're just like, Yeah, but if I won the lottery, I would go on this vacation and I would do this charitable thing. I would do this and this. Like that's how these conversations feel to me.
Yeah, very, very much so. They happen all the time. Like I'll win at 5, you win at 4, and then at 3, then you take me to the final 2. Boom, great. That would actually be really bad for Ty. I hope it's not his actual plan because Kiefer will wipe the floor with him in the final 2.
Yeah, and you gotta believe that at least some of the people in the house understand that. At least you hope for it.
Yeah. Your comment about the lottery made me remember the show Happy Endings and the lottery bit they did in that show, which was just really, really funny.
So good. Oh my
It's
God,
one of my
I love
favorite
that show.
things.
Incredible.
All right. So Ty is also going to talk to Tara, and they talk about him not using the veto again, and how they will be voting Jed out. So it did seem like there was a chance that they would switch from Jed to Beth if the two of them stayed up on the block, but it did seem like it was pretty locked in on Jed at this point in time. Ty is going to throw some feelers out and see if he can get himself not nominated if the veto is won by either Jed or Beth. He wonders if, hey, what have you considered Kiefer or Braden going up if one of them wins? And even though the discussion is interrupted, her response is essentially no.
Yeah, that's come on. Tara's not gonna do. Come on. I mean, like in this house with different HOHs, I think that could be more of a possibility. I think that Tara is probably the HOH where that's the least likely to happen.
Mm-hmm.
She sticks to her guns a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, for as much as Ty is like in with them right now, he is still one of the trio. And if Tara, is going to have her way, she's going to get one of them out. And that means Ty as well, if that's what it takes.
Yes, exactly. Which is 100% the correct mindset in this point as HOH as Tara. That is like in doing Jed and Beth as the initial and then having Ty as the possibility if either Jed or Beth come off. 100% the correct set of nominations in this circumstance. I don't like Tara, but she did make the right decision with her nominations.
Yes. So the feeds then go down basically for the veto, unless there's anything else that you wanted to talk about.
Okay, so there was like a couple of little things. Like at one point, they burned a bunch of slop. Okay,
they did.
Crucial.
It got very stuck. It was it was a bad thing.
It was not good. And then Jed and Beth ate all of the slop crumble and didn't leave any for Ty. And Bray did go to Ty like, hey, yeah, they ate all of it. And I was like, don't you think Ty might want some of that? And they were like, he's fine. Just like a little moment to be like, they're not with you. They ate the slop crumble.
Yeah, this is what almost got me convinced that Ty is full of it, because like just the smallest little, like it was like, oh, they ate all the slop crumble, and he was like, oh, they did me dirty again, huh? They just keep doing me and I'm like, do you really? This does not sound like Ty. Like it sounds like he's playing this up.
The second you hear Ty's diary room voice in the house, he's acting.
Yes. It really feels like the problem is that he's not telling Jed. I mean, he is telling Jed or Beth, I guess or Jed and Beth, but or Jed at least. But he's just been spending so much time with Braden and Kiefer and Tara, and he's been promising them so much. I know a lot of people, most people I would say, are fully convinced that he is with them at this point. And he was talking about taking out Jed, and he seems to want to take out Jed. But there's definitely a part of this, I think, that is played up. And I'm not sure where Ty is going to land given this veto result. But anything else that you wanted to bring up?
Yes. Also for the veto, it was an individually timed competition, it seems like, just because they were getting locked down in HOH, and it did sound like it was quite a long build for this veto. So I think this might be one of the bigger comps that we're seeing this season. And yeah, individually timed. So I'm excited to see it play out. But I can't really think of anything else that actually happened yesterday that was like crucial, you know?
Yeah.
It was a slow day, which is not the worst thing.
The wait for the veto usually is once the noms are locked in, you can't really talk about your game plan for the week too much until the veto happens, because
exactly.
you don't know what's happening with the veto.
Well, unless you want to be like the trio or like Ty and Kiefer and be like, okay, so this person's winning the veto. They're going to use the veto on this person. Then this person's going to go up. Then we're going to all vote this person out. And then you're going to win the next HOH. And then this person's going to win the veto. And then this person's going to get evicted. And then we're in the final two and we win. It's easy as that, you know?
Easy. So the feeds come up this morning and we discover that Jed has in fact won the power of veto. Now, he was talking about the competition, and it sounds like it was a puzzle of some sort. It sounds like it was, you know, that like puzzle where there are a bunch of cars and you move the cars in like a gridlock and then you can move one through the path. Sounds like it was that kind of thing where there were blocks as the obstacles and then they moved a car through. I don't know if it was like a large thing or if it was like a small thing, but Jed apparently completed this in about 30 seconds. He said he moved to the end of it, he looked at it, he saw what he needed to do, did it, and it was over.
And so I guess that Jed is one of those people who had that app on their phone.
Well, that's the funny thing. He was like, I usually suck at those. I'm really bad at them. But he was like, this one was really easy. He just saw it. It was only 3 moves, he said.
If they had made it more complicated, then Ty could have done it. It would have been like city planning for what?
Yeah. Well, so Ty said that he did something similar to Jed. He moved to the end of it, saw the solution, and solved it. But he spent some time before he did that, just kind of playing around with the blocks, seeing how they moved, and then put them all back together to where they started, and then looked and saw the solution and went. Kiefer said that he took about 5 minutes. Braden said to Tara that his performance in this veto was embarrassing. So I do not think he did particularly well.
Braden, I love him so much. Oh, what a good man. I love him.
So, I don't know if there were other parts of the puzzle. I'm seeing that other people are saying that there were potentially other parts. This all happened this morning, like as I was preparing for the podcast. So I don't know if they've talked about more parts.
Yes, because the feeds came back. Everyone was asleep for quite a while. They just kind of started waking up in the last probably 35, 40 minutes or so. So we've been here for 20 minutes. So it's hard to get that. But Bray is due for a win. I agree, with no name in the chat, but it's fine. We'll win the veto on Thursday. It's fine.
So there you go. That's what we're looking at here. Jed with the veto. Should be taking himself off. Now, I did see that Kiefer potentially has a plan to try and get Jed to use it on Beth, so that they can take Jed out. If this is a real plan, then my response is kind of like exactly. I was just saying, Kiefer is just like Beth. This is a completely unnecessary and dumb plan.
Well, yeah, and even when Kiefer is talking about this plan, he's like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't, right? Because they have the confidence that Tara is going to put Ty up as the replacement nominee. And so it's like, yeah, we can try something a little bit wild, but if it doesn't work, like ultimately we're still going to get a good result because one of the trio will go home. But again, it's like, for what? Why? Like these people, none of them, not one person in this house is like good at Big Brother. Like, they're all kind of middle of the road to bad, which is what makes it so compelling and so fun. But it's just like, why are you doing this?
Well, here's why. If it doesn't work, it's terrible, because if Jed wins the HOH next week, granted it's a double eviction, but maybe that's even worse. Everyone gets to say, "Oh, Jed, don't look at me," especially Tara gets, "Don't look at me." Kiefer, you know how he was talking about you should maybe use the veto on Beth? That's because he wanted to vote you out. He was trying to trick you into voting, getting you voted out last week. And Ty can back it. Anyone else can back it up because he told all of them. And if he actually goes through and makes the attempt, then he has the physical evidence of, oh yeah, he did try to talk me into doing that. Terrible move. I don't know why he's thinking about doing this.
And especially in the context of the quote unquote double eviction on Thursday, literally you just have to be there for 30 seconds with Jed and be like, listen, Kiefer said this and this was his goal. And that's the last thing Jed hears going into like super quick noms and Veto. Toast.
Yeah, could you imagine we get Beth evicted on Thursday, double eviction, Jed wins, evicts Kiefer, and then Beth beats Kiefer, comes right back in, and all of a sudden, all right, I gotta stop with these fake double evictions.
Yeah, you've got it. This fake double eviction again. It's just it's been discussed to death, but it's like the second you hear it, there's immediately at least like 15 things that will go horribly wrong. Like there's no path where it's like, oh, that was fine. Like it's all dumb and bad. This is supposed to be like such an exciting week, an interesting week, and production said no, we can't have that. I know they plan it in advance, like they don't know what's coming, but it's just very disappointing. But here's the thing, okay? And I keep going back to this. I drew tarot for every player at the start of this season. And when I drew cards, Beth and Tara both got the exact same tarot card, exact same oracle card. So I'm convinced their fate in this game is tied together in some way. So I thought they might both go home in the last double eviction. But now I'm thinking maybe they'll both go home in this double eviction and then one of them comes back. Still not a good result because one of them comes back. But I just see them tied together and I cannot allow myself to think of them as the final two. So that's off the table for me. They're tied in some way and I just want to know why.
But if only one of them comes back, they're no longer tied together, right?
They went in the same eviction and Tara would have gotten Beth out, so it's tied enough. It's enough.
Here's the problem. If Beth does leave and then she wins the competition to come back in, no matter who she beats, whether it's Kiefer, Jed, Ty, Tara, Brayden, she's going to be like, boom, that was my move. I just took that person out. I am amazing.
She said,
I took out
alone.
Kiefer. I took out Kiefer all on my own. Screw everyone else that just evicted him.
She's like, I don't need anybody's help. I got myself back in the house by myself. I'm the greatest competitor of all time. I don't need anyone. I can do this. I'm winning the game now. It is happening.
So, yes, if we haven't indicated this enough, Beth is the person who will likely go home here, with Jed using the veto on himself. Ty is going to be the replacement, and the votes are Jed, Brayden, and Kiefer. Brayden and Kiefer at this moment not pleased with Beth because she tried to get them to volunteer for the block. Both very pleased with Ty, who has been working all week long to make them feel like he is with them. So they should be voting to keep Ty. Now, the only thing that could potentially shift this is that it is only Sunday, and these people are the most fickle players in the universe. And there's a lot of reason to look at Beth and Ty and go, Ty's maybe better at competitions if they're going to be physical. And I don't think this is necessarily a done deal. Tara, in particular, might come back around on Beth. We know that she was on Beth, prior to Kiefer ratting Beth out and Beth screwing up. So I don't think this is a done deal, but it is looking like Beth will go home on Thursday.
Yes. Oh, another thing. I think I can't remember if this happened this morning or yesterday. Time is fake. It's fine. But I know that people were talking to Tara about how Beth was talking about how she wouldn't get put up because she's a woman, and Tara goes, "I grew up with brothers. I'm a guy's girl, anyways. Like, how dare Beth say this?" And I was just like, "Yep, this is where we're at. This is where we're at. Final six, BB Can 9." Awesome.
Yeah.
It's 2021. This is where we're at.
I feel like Tina and Toya were the only women I haven't heard say that phrase in the feeds.
Yeah. Obviously you would remember better than me. You've taken notes on every single day, so I'm going to trust you on this one. It's
unfortunate. I'll tell you that.
You don't love to hear it. Okay. You do not love to hear it.
Yeah. So that's what we have here. We've got, tie going up on the block. It's impossible again to know exactly what will happen here with the nominations or with the votes, but it does look like Beth, who really should not be leaving this week, she should have been completely safe, will likely be leaving this week, barring any kind of waffling, which I do honestly expect.
I'd like to say one more thing, because this should be exciting. We should be having really exciting speculation about what's going to happen and where the game is going to go from here. And we can't, because of a fake double eviction, which they've already tried to do something called a fake double eviction once before, as you're well aware. Sorry to bring up your trauma, Taran. And it wasn't great. Didn't pan out great. So it's fine.
Yeah. All right, so that's what we have for you guys today. Of course, I'm sure there will be more to talk about tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern with everything that's going on today on the Big Brother Canada 9 live feeds. And tomorrow night, we'll be live to recap tomorrow night's episode of Big Brother Canada 9. Should be a fun one there. And that's what we've got. You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/Taran Armstrong. I go there to play some games, to hang out. We were waiting forever last night to see if the Veto would come back, and it never did. And so it'll be fun there. 5 p.m. Eastern tonight, we're going to be playing some Among Us with some mods and stuff. It'll be very fun. Kirsten, where can people find you?
So on every platform at Kirsten Said What, on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kirsten Said What. I too will be playing Among Us at 5 Eastern today with those mods. So let's hope I get Sheriff a lot again, because that's always chaotic and fun. As well as on the Temptation Island RHAPup podcast with Maggie Morgan. The finale of Temptation Island is coming up this week, and then the reunion. So that should be a treat. I've got BoJack Horsepod with Lindsay Wilson, where we are breaking down every episode of BoJack Horseman on Tuesdays. And then there's a recorded Riverdale podcast for Kowski Cast that's going to come out at some point. Bother Frail Mary if you want it. The show's on hiatus till July, so she's probably going to move to avoid editing that podcast. But yeah, that's it.
There you go. All right. There's also plenty of Circle coverage going on. The next 4 episodes will drop on Wednesday, so that should be fun as well. And that is basically what we have for you guys. So thank you so much for joining us this morning, and see y'all next time.
Y'all.